Hi, my name's Graham, and thanks for dropping by my blog and watching this video, which explains why I'm running the Gold Coast Marathon this year in support to raise funds for the Fight Dementia campaign for Alzheimer's Association Victoria. Really appreciate you dropping by and taking the time to watch it, and hopefully gaining your support as well as we raise some funds for Alzheimer's Association. I'm not sure if it's really that widely known, but there's over 250,000 odd people in Australia today who are living with dementia, and they say by 2050 or so they expect that will be over 1 million people who are living with dementia, which is a pretty significant number, and when we look at the size of the Australian population. And I guess I look at it and think, well, it's highly likely that each one of us will at some point in our lives be touched by someone who is living with dementia, or a family or friend who has a relative, whatever. You know, it could be an aunt or an uncle, it could be a grandparent, it could be a neighbour, it could be a work colleague. It is one of those things which is it doesn't really pick on any particular type of person. And in my case, I guess it's my mum. My mum's name's Kathy, and she's been living with dementia for a few years now. And in the last probably 6 to 9 months or so, things have got a bit harder, and to the point where Mum could no longer live at home. The family home that her and Dad had lived in for over 40 years and had raised me and my sister Suze, and yeah, it was pretty tough. She really didn't want to go, and she still misses home. Last time I saw her and we spoke. Look, the people at where she is now, they provide great support, and they're lovely people, and she's got some good friends, and she gets regular visitors and stuff. But it's not home. It's not the place where she's been, and I guess one of the key challenges that faces people living with dementia is how can they look after themselves or not be at risk to themselves and those around them. And it's really tough, I guess, when someone close to you is living with dementia, because you see them struggling to complete the tasks which used to be pretty straightforward and normal for them, and they forget things and stuff. So probably the hardest thing is really not a lot that you feel that you can do to help them. It's just one of those things that you just don't get that level of support or feeling that's out there. And I guess since now that I've had some association with the Alzheimer's Association, I've found out there's a lot of things that can be done, and there is great networks of support for both people living with dementia, and that means not directly but also indirectly, like family and friends. And there's probably a lot more I could be doing to help Mum, and I certainly hope to do so, because when someone close to you is challenged like this, you start to think about, well, have I been a good son? Is there anything I could have done better? And I think I probably haven't been the best son in the world. I've probably not done everything that she would have wanted. Did I call home as often as Mum would have liked? Definitely not. I can guarantee that, in fact. And likewise, I probably haven't been home as often as she would have liked to see her and Dad and touch base. But with families and work and living away, it gets tough, and it's an excuse, really, in a lot of ways. But and do I think I've told Mum that I love her as much as she deserves? Probably not. And look, I hope the fact that I probably haven't been the best son or done any of those things doesn't make me a bad person. But if there's one thing I have learned, I guess, through life, is that no matter how hard you try, you can't change history. But what you can do is you can certainly influence what's going to happen in the future. And for me, I'm hoping that by doing this small little event of running the marathon on the Gold Coast, and hopefully raising some funds which are in desperate need for supporting the Alzheimer's Association, that maybe I can make a bit of a difference for Mum, and also a bit of a difference for other people who are fighting dementia. There was a wonderful story circulating around on email some time ago, and I'm not sure if you saw it, which had a nurse who was working in a busy doctor's surgery said that as an elderly gent came in and he had a thumb wound and wanted to get it looked at. He came about 8:30 in the morning. He's a bit agitated because he had a 9 o'clock meeting, said he needed to get to. And look, the nurse could see that there's a waiting list there. He wasn't going to be seeing for an hour, and she saw him sitting in the waiting room constantly looking at his watch and thought, oh, maybe I can help him out. So she did, and she had a look, and she looked at his thumb, and that was all fine, and took the sutures out and redressed the wound. And he was all good to go, but while she was dressing his wound, she asked him, said, do you have another doctor's appointment to go to? So obviously you need to get going in a hurry. And he said, no, I've got, I have breakfast with my wife at the nursing home, so I wanted to be there for that. And the nurse inquired as to his wife's health and why she was in the nursing home, and to which the old gent explained that she's been living with Alzheimer's for some time. And as the two talked, the nurse asked if his wife would be upset if he was a bit late, and he replied that his wife no longer remembered him and hadn't done so for almost 5 years. And the nurse was obviously a bit, surprised and taken aback, and said, well, and you go every morning for breakfast with her, even though she doesn't know who you are. And the elderly gent said, smiled and patted her on the arm and said, that's okay, dear. She doesn't know me, but I still know who she is. And that sort of struck a chord with me. I think the nurse went on to explain how she was just amazed by this guy's love and commitment for his partner. When I read it, it hit me hard, and I realised that people living with dementia need our help. They need our support, and they need our love. And I may not have been the perfect son, but I certainly do want to try to make a difference for my mum. And I'm hoping that by raising money for the amazing people at the Alzheimer's Association in their Fight Dementia campaign, that we can all help spread the word and help those facing the daily challenges of living with dementia. And certainly maybe I can do something that helps my mum and people like her. Ultimately, I guess I'd like to think that maybe I'll be the kind of son that my mum will be proud of, and that someone should be proud of while she still remembers who I am. And ultimately, I know that that's probably it's not that long before she may not even know who I am. So, thanks again for dropping by. I really do appreciate you stopping by and offering support. If you can donate something to support my run at the Gold Coast for the marathon, then that'd be awesome. It'd be just brilliant, and I really appreciate it. And but if you can't, words of encouragement equally is valuable to me, and certainly as I try to drag this arthritic middle-aged body around over the 42 odd Ks, every bit of support is certainly helpful. Also too, if there's somebody that you know who's afflicted by or fighting dementia, and you'd like to be able to recount your story or post it on here, please do. And look, I'd like to think that I can get a whole host of names of people who are fighting dementia or and want to champion the cause. That the more people I'm running for, the better it is. And look, that just makes that training run a whole lot easier to know that I've got your support. And don't forget to check out the links on this blog that take you to the Alzheimer's Association website. They are absolutely amazing people. There's a wealth of resources available to you there, and I think it's pretty important that we all look at it. I guess we spend a lot of time investing in keeping our minds, our bodies active and fit. Now it's equally as important that we do so for our minds, and mental gymnastics. We need to keep both healthy, and there's a whole lot of tricks, and make sure you download the Brainy app for your iPhone or your iPad. So once again, thanks for your support, thanks for dropping by. Cheers for now, and I'll be posting a link very soon on this blog post, which will be from all the running enthusiasts that want to have a look about where I'm running, what sort of kit I'm using, and what the training program looks like for preparation for running a marathon, especially when you're an old git like me. So thanks again, and stay tuned. Cheers.